All right, well, here we are. It's Vic Lombardi. It's DMac. It's Altitude After Dark. There's you. There's me. We got Sean Payton. We got Bo Nix. What do you got to say for yourself, Vic Lombardi? What do you got to say?
Well, I have to take a step back and have to divorce what I saw today from what we've seen the last 8 years because it's important to keep these mutually exclusive just to be fair to Bo Nix. Because it's easy to walk away from a game like this and say, same old,
Same old,
3-and-out city,
Yeah.
crap ass offense, nothing there, obviously. But on the other side of things, rookie quarterback making his first start on the road in a loud spot.
Yeah.
What did we expect, Coach Sanford? What did we expect to see? Did we expect greatness on day one? Because that wasn't greatness. I don't even know what that was. It wasn't close to greatness.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah, how we doing, fellas?
Good.
Yeah,
a lot of football.
It was a bit of a tough watch today. It was. I think some of the hardest part is that's exactly what I expected, Vic. That's exactly what I expected from the skill set side of the player of Bo Nix. I expected to see a lot of short and intermediate passing, and I expected to see those short throws that were fairly big plays in the preseason to not be such big plays against the starting defense. The average, I believe the average attempt was yards per attempt was like at 3.2 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards. It's basically a handoff. It's just here, take it. Yeah.
I did expect the run game to be a little bit better, which I think could have helped Bo Nix, but leaving this game with Bo Nix as your leading rusher, really on 2 runs in the final drive of the offensive game for the Broncos, that's not ideal. So the problem I have, Vic and DMac, is I do feel like we were sold that it was going to be better. I think so. I think we were sold it was going to be better over the course of the last 4 weeks.
Sure,
I do.
Sure. Well, let me rewind and tell people it was Coach Sanford here in his heavy scrutiny of every quarterback that came through the combine, that came through this draft. He defined Bo Nix and defined him as a quarterback who's very capable, a veteran quarterback, very good in the red zone, very good on his feet. But could he push the ball down the middle of the field in the NFL game? Could he find those open windows? Could he find those pockets that you need to find to sustain a drive? And trial and error day one, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. The best pass he had was to the sideline to Josh Reynolds, and he couldn't throw the ball where it needed to be in those small pockets.
Well, Sean Payton was defending him, fellas.
For any quarterback playing, we've got to be more effective running the football. We'll see the rushing. If you take away his scrambling yards, I think we're like somewhere 60 yards rushing to their 140. So not nearly good enough.
Do you see that last drive in which he scored a touchdown, giving him some confidence moving forward?
I think part of being a young player is, he's a fairly confident, I don't want to say kid, but I felt the whole time he was into it, competing. We just got to be better around him, and that's my impressions from just watching it without looking at the tape.
When you look at the
got to be better around him. Got to block better. Got to run better. Got to be better around him.
Bo Nix is going to be better. Okay.
Good.
Again, we can't be surprised by what we saw. We're disappointed because we all want that storybook start to a season. We all wanted to see him get the ball back if Benito doesn't jump off sides and work magic in the final minute. That's what we wanted to see. But what we saw was more reality. That was more pretty much predestined. A rookie quarterback on the road in Seattle, in all that noise, and the offense was miserable. My question to you, Coach Sanford, Payton had said we needed to establish the run game more. Why didn't they? Why didn't they run it more?
One of the bigger challenges when you do have deficiency, at least we'll call it experience deficiency at the quarterback position. Myself coaching at the college level, at times I've had a talent deficiency, arm talent, the ability to read a defense. What defenses do, and where I think the book now is out, at least on rookie Bo Nix, is you actually put an extra defender in the box and play man coverage, tightly contested man coverage. And the problem with that is because you're deficient as a passer, you don't see as much zone coverage because they want to take away the easy gimme throws, and they don't think that you can stretch it vertically down the field against zone. So they just say, we're going to take away the easy stuff. Well, in doing that defensively, you also add an extra element to the run fit. And that's what Seattle did a good chunk of the day today. One thing that I do think is Bo Nix is a guy that throws a unbelievable slant pattern. Okay. That showed up on the final drive. He throws a great quick out, which is actually not an easy throw. A lot of really good quarterbacks I've been around. Like Jordan Love wasn't a great quick out thrower, which he can throw everything down the field, a post corner to perfection. And he's a really good hitch thrower, a 5-yard stop route, a hitch. He throws those things incredibly well, and he does it well when it's around tempo, which is what he did in college. He did it at Auburn. He did it at Oregon. That was the final drive of the game. And I do think that combined with his mobility to get out of the pocket, that is the secret formula going forward. But the problem is the NFL kind of knows the book on him now after week 1.
All right, here is Jeff Legwald. Ask him, did you want to throw it 40 times, which is a bit of a smart aleck question.
No, that's a byproduct a lot of times of, you get into the fourth quarter and heck no. No.
Yeah, and in terms of what they wanted was efficiency that they didn't
Now, the
get.
safeties are the safeties, and the interesting thing with the safeties are that I don't know, we were able to catch the ball, obviously, and, +8, you gives yourself a chance of possibly returning it. I would say it's not as penalizing maybe as in the past, because you had to hang, you have hang time and all of that. But that is what it is. But yeah, the muff punt, the interception, we got to be better. And I got to be better. The thing that was frustrating is the down and distance efficiency for us offensively on first or second down. There were too many third down and eight or more.
What do you say?
Yeah, man, they didn't take advantage of the opportunities they had, guys. They left a lot of points on the board today. Yeah. A lot.
Just look at the first 3 plays of the game. All right. First play of the game, Cooper with the sack. Second play of the game, Singleton with the pick. Third play of the game, Javonte, 9-yard run, almost broke that one. And then after that, it was ugly. After that, Javonte gets a carry again. If he doesn't slip and he just maintains his balance to the outside, he's going to walk into the end zone. They did not take advantage of ideal field position to start their game. They didn't take advantage of 2 safeties that the safeties gave them. We're basically echoing the same. It's the same story, man. And that's where the frustration comes in. Take advantage of a situation the defense gives you, and they could not do it early.
Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done. I mean, there's times where, as a coach, there's nothing that I want more than to cash in on that turnover that your defense generated. A lot of times it comes down to players, fellas. It comes down to receivers that can go up and make plays. It comes down to a quarterback that can be creative to the tune of seeing what Jaden Daniels did today, which is be athletic, make things happen. Jaden Daniels, 70-something yards rushing, I believe. And right now, that's probably my bigger concern that I had in training camp, but I wanted to see it. It's early in the season. We can't say everything's written already, but is this receiving group, the core of receivers, is this the ideal scenario for rookie Bo Nix and his abilities?
Well, that's a great question, because the guy that was targeted the most is a 7th-round pick. Yeah. I mean, a 7th-round pick who's really not supposed to make an impact his first year is your most targeted receiver. And I'm looking at the Broncos receivers, and they have stats for it. I saw the stats. Their inability to get separation. That's the next question I have. Is that on them, or is that on the play call? Why can't they get separation? I'm watching Rams and Lions tonight, and I'm watching dudes run open 2 and 3 yards. Why can't the Broncos receivers run open?
Well, if you look at the open market, right, and the market's going to tell you your value, who on the Broncos receiving core in the roster from a receiver standpoint would command anything near some of the dollar figures that are being thrown around for top 2 receivers for certain teams?
Nobody. And Troy Franklin was we suspected he would have a redshirt year. Well, game one, as he was a healthy scratch. I mean, we're just looking for speed. If you're looking for separation, Jerry Jeudy caught a touchdown pass for the Browns today. I don't know. There isn't anybody. That guy doesn't exist. He might be wearing number 12 for Colorado right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the frustration, I guess, after a game like that isn't necessarily just with Bo Nix. I guess it's with the game plan with Bo Nix. It's the inability to surround him with the playmakers that would make a rookie quarterback feel better on the field. Because, man, there were times, you saw it, guys. There were times when the Broncos got the ball and you're like, okay, how soon before they have to punt, right? And then all of a sudden, at the end of the game, at the end of the game, they go prevent, the Seahawks do, as you so aptly noticed there, and a little more room for Bo Nix to run, and he looked like a completely different quarterback. That was my next question. How much of Bo Nix in that last drive where he shined, how much of that was Seattle just saying, yeah, go ahead?
Well, because it was tempo, because it was a 2-minute mechanism from anytime there was a 6 to 8 yard completion on a hitch or a quick out, Denver's offense is rushing the ball. So you can't get to your exotics. You can't get to some of your more complicated blitz looks that, frankly, Bo Nix was having to learn to operate under in quarters 1 through 3. And it was tough. It was hard. It didn't look comfortable. And so, when you get into that at the end of a game scenario, you're up by 2 scores. The last thing that the Seahawks want to do is have a busted coverage because of lack of communication. So you just go, we call it, what's your bitch call? Like as a defensive coordinator, I'm going to be a bitch right here, and I'm going to make sure we don't get beat over the top. We're going to be sound. We might give something up underneath. That was Mike McDonald in a 2-minute scenario, just operating his bitch calls. And he did, and it was effective for the Seahawks because, you did give up the points, but it took time. It wasn't one play. It wasn't, Josh Reynolds getting cut loose free and he's off to a touchdown. Now all of a sudden you're playing real 4-minute offense if you turn around, you're the Seahawks.
I will say Sean Payton was very defensive of Bo, though. And I got a couple more clips for you.
Watch the tape, but he gave us a chance. Our protection was average at best. And I just think, and I believe this, that we have to, at one point in the game, I came to the bench and talked to the receivers and said, let's go. I don't know how many drops we had, but man, let's help this guy. So any more? All right. Thanks.
He wanted to get
I got one. Josh Reynolds had a couple drops. Josh Reynolds, you signed him, and Tim Patrick, who don't drop anything, is not on the team. So, I mean, listen, you buy the groceries, you shop for the groceries. You can't blame the groceries because you're the reason they're here. And we all know that, right? We all know that he's going to have a say in who's here. So we can't go blaming one side of the offense. If the quarterback today were Russell Wilson and not a rookie, would that same tone come out in the post-game press conference?
Hell no.
No.
Of course not.
Hell no. Let's stick with the supermarket, analogies here. But the difference right now for Sean Payton is that he has to go shop at the dollar store instead of at Whole Foods because of the Russell Wilson situation.
True.
And so Josh Reynolds, who does have speed, who I do think can create separation. One of the guys that I loved at training camp. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I fell in love with the player, but I did think created separation consistently was Brandon Johnson. Like I thought Brandon Johnson was a very good route runner, could get out of his breaks and was a value at the dollar store. And so I just don't know, man. The very last piece of data that you had on Josh Reynolds was the NFC Championship where he put the ball on the ground when it was thrown to him. Like, it is what it is, Vic. You said it. It is what it is.
By the way, I prefer the Five Below store because a dollar store, Five Below is a pretty damn good store. I could live in a Five Below.
Yeah, very solid.
Speaking of Five Below, the Broncos now face a Pittsburgh Steelers team next week that, listen, offensively, they had their struggles, but their kicker's good. And Russ, I don't know why they would start Russ. I mean, listen, Fields wasn't incredible, but he made some good plays, and he certainly kept things alive by running around. And their defense is really good.
I have a question. Why is Russell Wilson in full uniform.
Why is he wearing pads?
Eye black. He's wearing
Why?
He's
right?
wearing eye black. But the eye black really set me off. I'm like, dude, first of all, you're indoors. You're wearing eye black.
Well, he was inactive. He wasn't playing.
Inactive, suited up, eye black. We know why.
What is he?
We know why he's doing it. Because
Why?
he's the biggest cornball on planet Earth. He's obsessed with the narrative. He wants to show I'm such a good teammate. Even if I'm injured and inactive, I'm going to be out here with my eye black on and show Steeler Nation I'm committed to the cause. Let's smelt Steeler Nation. Like it's just it's a joke, man. It's a joke. It's ridiculous. Like, dude, you got a ton of money. You're married to Sierra. You don't have anything to prove, man. Hey, if you're injured, just go and put a ball cap on and help out Justin Fields. And when you're back, put on the jersey.
You know what I was thinking watching that Atlanta-Pittsburgh game? If you think that the Seattle Seahawks with their rookie head coach is going to deliver some issues for the Broncos offense, imagine what Pittsburgh's going to do.
Well, that's where I was about to go. That's where I was going.
God. That defense is good luck with TJ Watt. Good luck with that crew. Good luck next week.
Yeah, and Garrett Bowles did get hurt, and we don't know the severity of it. Not Neil Peart was playing left tackle. Don't know much about this guy. Of course, Quinn Bailey, the swing tackle, got hurt early in camp. And Bo was running for his life a lot. So, I mean, it wasn't as bad as the CU offensive line, I guess, Coach, but it wasn't good. And it could get much worse for them next week.
Yeah, Matt Peart, I believe Matt Peart was the went in as a left tackle. Yeah. He started NFL games, a bit of a journeyman. Not an ideal scenario when he's protecting the blind side of a rookie quarterback, just because, Garrett Bowles is a guy that's played a ton and there's a lot of trust factor there. Whatever the spread is, I think it's going to shift a lot based off the availability of Garrett Bowles, because I think that's very critical for this team.
All right. What did we go ahead, Vic. Go ahead.
No, I'm just curious because you're talking about Russell Wilson. Do you guys want to see Russell start next week? I mean,
yes.
I mean, we all want to see
desperately.
That theater, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the theater we want in Denver.
I will be highly disappointed if he doesn't start. There's no logical reason for him to start after they won on the road and beat Kirk Cousins. I mean, why would you? But yeah, from the storyline perspective, I mean, how could you not want it? I mean, that's ridiculous that
Justin Fields will start, guys. He's going to start because you got to think about Tomlin's looked at so many bad games of quarterback play compared to what it's been in Pittsburgh. Think about last year between Tiny Hands Pickett, you got Mason Rudolph, and they still made the playoffs with some of the worst quarterback play in the NFL last year. I mean, Justin Fields gives you a chance because he's athletic. He extends plays. He's going to start. I think Justin Fields borrowed Russ's chef's cap, his hat. He borrowed his apron. And I think that he's not going to give it back. And I think it's going to be Justin Fields that's going to be cooking, not Russ.
Let's talk about the Broncos defense. I thought they played well. First of all, I thought the special teams of the Broncos was extraordinary. I thought they were fantastic. Do we all agree on that?
A+ special teams. Very good. Just the way they fielded the ball. Riley Dixon punted it well. I think he averaged 48. They didn't miss a field goal. Right. So I thought special teams was obviously the bright spot today. In defense, here's the Denver defense. It's the same recipe we've seen here for a few years. They come out like gangbusters. They look good. They force a couple plays. They give the offense great field position. But it's only a matter of time before the opposing team figures it out and figures them out. And that's what happened. Maybe if they get some love on the back end of those plays and they jump out to a bigger lead, they could pin their ears back and go after the opposing quarterback. But that's not what takes place. This defense, they're responsible for a lot. If anybody's going to sit here and blame the defense, I'm going to laugh. I get it. Benito should not have jumped off sides at the end, but give me a break. The Denver defense was pretty damn solid today.
Yeah, you got to think that between the special teams unit and the defense, you had 4 points that you scored yourself. You take 4 points off the scoreboard. How many points did the Denver Broncos offense score?
Yeah.
You're asking me to do math for
that would be 16.
Yeah, 16. You know that number at all? DMac, you heard the number 16 around these parts offensively?
Well, that's what they used to just average. That was right. That was the
just another Broncos 16-point game.
That's the top of the mountain.
Today was.
It was. I know what you're saying, but just really quick, they were 1 for 4 in the red zone. Okay, meaning that's 3 opportunities And now they did score a couple of field goals. Guys, they did leave, if you could score touchdowns, and they had an interception in the red zone too, like at the but that did lead to a safety. That being said, you leave 15 points, 15 possible points in the trash can. You're going to lose games.
Absolutely.
Leaving that many points. You can't do it.
Absolutely.
You just can't do it.
Yeah, and I'd take it a step further is that Singleton's interception gifted the ball in the red zone for the Broncos offense. So we already talk about 16 points is what the offense scored. Take another 3 off because that was a guaranteed field goal by virtue of where you inherited the ball after Singleton's interception. They scored 13 points, DMac, and there were 7 3-and-outs. 7. And what was it? How many in a row? It felt like it was like, it felt 4 or 5 in a row.
I think there might have been 6 in a row. It was something like it was brutal. You had Singleton's interception, you had the muff punt, which is inside the 10-yard line, and then you had the interception that Nix threw. Again, it did result in the safety, but that was, basically at the goal line. That's in the end zone too, and unnecessary, an unforced error. So this is what the Broncos did last year. Okay, guys, they left all sorts of points on the board in a lot of close games.
I have one last thought on the rookie quarterback because, and I'm very honest when I say I want him to succeed. I want him to be really good. I want him to be the future, and I hope they can build in that direction. But I'm not going to lie to myself. Here's what I said going into this game: is I want to watch him develop, and he's going to have some growing pains. Clearly, he's not going to develop as quickly as we had hoped. He's not going to be Patrick Mahomes out of the gate, but I need to see moments of greatness. I need to see that thing he does where you're looking to your friend in the room saying, "Did you see that? Just see that?" I didn't see that. And I don't know what that is. And maybe it'll come next week. And maybe it'll come the week after.
You didn't like the throw to Josh Reynolds? You didn't like the throw to Reynolds?
That was
or
fine.
Running in for a touchdown? No, that wasn't
fine. That was fine. That was fine. But you know what I mean. And I don't know how to define or explain what that is. I think he could be a really good quarterback. I do. And I hope they show enough patience. I hope we show enough patience because we knew what we were going to get this season, and that's what it is. But I need to see those moments that go, because when you saw Mahomes, you knew. When you saw Stroud, you knew. You just see things, and I don't know if I saw that in game 1 out of Nix.
Let me play you some of Bo Nix on the day itself.
Just tough situation. So overall, I think, as poorly as we did, I think we gave ourselves a chance to win. There at the end, our special teams and defense played incredible. They really kept us in the game and gave us hope. They battled. But I think, overall, you like the compete of our team. You like the look of, we never quit. We battled. It could have got out of hand, but it didn't, and we were, a possession away from having a chance, essentially. So, obviously not the original results you want, but I feel like, we're going to have a confident group, and we're going to bounce back from it and continue to compete.
So do you like that sort of vibe from him, at least after the game? Or
Yeah, I do. I think that last drive gave him hope, gave him life, because the quarterback that I saw in preseason, the look in his eyes, I'm a body language guy, especially with that position, because so much of it is between your ears. There was a look in Bo Nix's eyes that, it got me, somebody that has had my questions and been fairly critical of Bo Nix, the player. I saw in the third quarter, in that string of 3-and-outs after that interception, I saw a defeated look in Bo Nix's eyes week 1. And I was concerned about that because I've lauded his ability to respond. And I'm sitting there like, oh boy, is he already there? There's a point as a rookie quarterback or as a freshman quarterback, a first-time high school starting quarterback, where you get there, air quotes there. And I thought he was there. And I do think that the final drive did a lot of goodwill towards what might be coming in terms of his growth. And I do want to see his growth. I want to see him use his legs more. That's a powerful tool 100%. That he does have.
But I wonder how much of that is legislated out of the offense, though. I wonder how much of that is, all right, listen, that'll come. We know you have that power, but right now we want to see you play in the pocket. We want to see what you can do with this offense. At the end of the day, I'll ask you guys this. How important is it to win versus develop this guy? Let him make mistakes? Because if you really wanted to win, and I know they do, I'm not making light of that. I think you're running the ball 50 times in this game. And I mean, take a look at the Chargers passing numbers today with a much better quarterback, a seasoned veteran quarterback. And look at how many times they threw the ball versus passed the ball. And look at the difference between those two approaches to the game. Chargers won. And they took the ball out of their quarterback and said, we're going to run it. And they were pretty happy with that. And Sean Payton said they need to do better establishing the run. Well, by God, you better find a way to do it. Otherwise, that quarterback's going to struggle.
It's a pretty good point, Vic. Well, 27 rushes for 176 yards, and they scored 13 points in the fourth quarter. So they were down. They were trailing at halftime, and they did have a slight lead, 9-7 at the end of 3. But, yeah, they poured it on. I mean, it was 50-50. It was 50-50. So, listen, I don't think the intent was to throw it so much the way Sean Payton did. It's just, you're down 13 points, Vic. There's 9 minutes to go in the game. What are we doing here? What's going to happen now?
Well, I guess my question, Coach, they're so reliant upon the quick hitch. Everything's a quick hitch. Why not just a quick pitch or a handoff there? Why does it have to be a quick hitch? Because if I see another freaking quick hitch out of a Broncos offense that turns into a 2-yard loss, I swear to God.
Yeah, I think that Sean Payton did call this game like the 41 attempts. Is that what it was? Was it 41 pass
42.
attempts today? 42 pass attempts for the day. I think that Sean Payton wanted to debut his rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
He did. And I think that factored into the play calling because the situation, they weren't trailing by a ton of points for the majority of the game.
Well, I'm laughing a little bit because they had 7 3-and-outs. So you had 3 plays to either run the ball or pass the ball the vast majority of the game until Seattle sat back a little bit and let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, and I guess the situational reality of that is that means that you were in third and probably long on forever on those, right? And so those are obvious pass attempts. So that's 1 out of 3. And then you're going to have a run or a pass on the other 2, right? And so, I have a question for you guys real quick. What did you think when you watched the game, say just solely as a fan, when Bo Nix was under center? Okay. I'm talking about actually taking a snap from an under center position. What was your confidence level in Bo Nix operating the offense to successful levels?
Well, my confidence level was blurred by what I'd seen in the previous plays. So I wasn't very confident at all. And I guess I'd have to go back and look, Coach, and actually make a distinction between the under center plays and the shotguns, because I really didn't have that mindset. I wanted them to do something, right? Just do something. And that's my answer. It's a non-answer, but I didn't pay particular attention to that.
I was about a 3 out of 10. It looked muddy. It
didn't look comfortable, right?
Didn't look comfortable. There wasn't really any flow or movement. And he needed just to run the ball more. Listen, man, you can rip on Justin Fields all you want, I suppose, but he's going to pick up third downs just by running around and giving his team a chance. So will Lamar Jackson. And, Bo's going to have to figure that out. That's exactly what Josh Allen did in his first year, just until he could figure things out.
And again today, DMac, when everybody was ready to just heap it all on the Bills, Josh Allen says, you know what, and I'm going to use my big frame. I'm going to use my body, my feet to go extend plays in the red zone. I'm going to get a score. So I do like that part, but it goes back to, and the reason I asked that question to both you guys is it goes back to the question that Vic asked is why not help the rookie quarterback out by running the football? Well, the problem I see is that if you're going to run the football, this team runs the ball much better with the background of Sean Payton from under center. And if your passing game can't be successful from under center as well, then all of a sudden you give up the formational tendency. And I think that's going to be something to keep our eyes on as the season progresses.
Well, that's where the patience and let them develop and let them learn that drop and let them learn the mannerisms and the footwork and all that stuff. And we're just going to have to be patient with that.
Well, Vic, you guys, have plenty of time tomorrow morning just to scream about how terrible everything was. So looking forward to that. And Mike,
You're running back there.
Unbelievable.
You're running back. What a stud that kid is. Holy moly.
Ashton Genty is worth the price of the peacock. I'll tell you that.
Oh, God. Hey, how about the job my Irish did this weekend?
Dude, I was just going to bring it up. You got to be kikidding me, man. You got to be kidding me.
I'm wearing this out of defiance, just to be defiant. Jesus. Come on, man. Come on.
Cheers, poor old Notre Dame.
God, that was pathetic.
Cheering her name.
I mean, I couldn't believe that was happening. That was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
I could, because it's happened once a year for the last, 5-6 years. I can believe it.
Northern Illinois. Come on, man. Northern Illinois. That makes the 3-9 Stanford team that went into Notre Dame Stadium and beat them in Marcus Freeman's second year.
I'm not shocked. You guys.
I am shocked. I don't know how you can't be shocked. Hey, by the way, time out. You know who's got a team? Syracuse.
Oh, they are balling. Kyle McCord. I never understood why Ohio State let him walk. That dude could play.
He can play, and they brought in a bunch of other you're treating me like shit in the SEC sort of guys to Syracuse. Yeah. I mean, and they've got a coach too, Fran Day, who, golly, man, you want to talk about a culture shift. And the only reason I'm bringing up, they handled Georgia Tech relatively easily. Georgia Tech got an onside kick and scored a touchdown, or that game's like a blowout, okay?
Right.
Syracuse has the 76th easiest schedule left. They do not have a hard path. This Kyle McCord kid, I'm just saying, guys, and I know you can't really take me serious about Syracuse, but I didn't know shit about him, and I'm watching him like, you got to be kidding me.
Hey, he's a good player.
Well, I know shit about Riley Leonard, and he's not that good.
Dude, that was abysmal. That was some of the worst quarterback play in the last 2 decades in Notre Dame Stadium, for sure.
And they waited in line for that kid from Duke. As soon as I knew he went to Duke, I said, he went to Duke. How good can he be? He went to freaking Duke. We're going to the freaking dollar store to get the quarterback at Duke.
I know.
What the hell's going on?
I know this is not a Notre Dame podcast or live stream here, but I want to ask you this question, Vic. Okay, so you look at Sam Hartman a year ago. He was very good at Wake Forest. He got to Notre Dame, terrible. Riley Leonard was really good at Duke. Goes to Notre Dame. Like, what is in the water in South Bend that good quarterbacks?
Pressure's in the water. Pressure's in the water. That's what's in the water. There's a lot of pressure playing at Notre Dame. That's what I like
to say. It's the regiment, the really rigid academic requirements needed.
That is a real thing right there. Except for all these guys already graduated from college.
That's true. That's a good point.
Hey, by the way, and I don't mean to rip on a local kid, but is CU going to still hand the ball off to Rudy, the Rudy of CU?
Hey, that's my guy, Charlie Offerdahl. Yeah,
I get it. He's everybody's guy. No. I get it, Coach. He's everybody's guy. That's kind of the problem here.
DMac, when did Dallin Hayden's run production come in that game? Everybody's talking about Dallin Hayden. It was late, right?
I'll tell you when it happened. Here's when it happened.
It was 28 spank.
Yeah, when Nebraska wanted to just call everything off and just obviously play lousy in the second half, but they didn't care because Matt Rule didn't care about running up the score. He just cared about winning the game. I don't know if anybody caught that. That CU game was about as bad as you can get, Vic.
It was over in the first series. I saw the offensive series and the defensive series, and I said, whatever. All I know is that this week on all of our radio shows, get ready.
Get ready.
CSU week.
Get ready.
I love it when the fan bases go at each other, and we get to just sort of be the go-between, right? This is awesome. I love this week. It's my favorite of the year.
And so I had a chance to call my first TV broadcast, Vic, at the CSU UNC game.
You did great.
I thought you did great. I agree.
Well, I appreciate it. How about this, fellas? You guys both know this world, being in radio, and Vic, you calling games, and DMac, you've definitely called some games in your life, I'm guessing.
I have not. Well, just like goofy stuff, nothing.
Calling games. It's all the same. So 3 minutes before kickoff, Vic, the truck goes out. We have no audio. We have no audio in our ears. Okay. Yeah. So my very first time doing this, the entire game, we didn't have the producer. They finally got it back. We did our open for the broadcast, not being able to hear each other, me and Brian Roth. So I had to slide my earpiece off, and I was screaming so that Brian could hear me because he's actually deaf in his right ear.
Oh my God.
So I was screaming bloody murder. And then Tyler Columbus texted me during the broadcast. He says, "Hey, can you tell the audio guys to fix you? You sound like you're in a damn submarine right now." I'm like, dude, I haven't heard a thing. the entire broadcast of myself.
Wow.
Of my partner.
Part of
Yeah.
Part of the challenges of those broadcasts,
Wow.
the things people don't know or don't see.
And you just got to
And-
pull it off.
And there's not a one that you do where there's not some challenge, but you look good through it. So congratulations.
No,
You
I
got
appreciate
through
it,
your
guys.
first one. Many more to come.
If CU loses to CSU, what's the story?
The wheels are off. The wheels are off.
Oh,
Would you agree with that?
I wonder what the line when is the point spread out yet? I wonder
I
what the
don't
line
know.
is. I
I'll look
wonder
it
what
up.
that would be. I would guess
It's got to
the
be
line is
CU.
out. I'll see you by 4 or 5 would be my guess.
Okay, I'll look it
4
up
or
real
5.
quick.
Watching that CSU team, first off, there were 37,000 people at that game, which I was shocked with. It was UNC,
Yeah.
CSU. It was a sellout on paper. That stadium's going to be rocking. It is going to be. It's going to be wild.
Well, the reason there were 37,000 because they knew that Coach Sanford was calling the game, and they're like, I don't want to watch this on television. Let's go to the game.
That's a great marketing strategy from the CSU department. I love it.
Is there anything good about I mean, listen, they took care of UNC. Good for them. Actually, UNC put up a little bit of a fight, right? So that was
UNC's
cool.
much improved. Much
It was
improved.
24-14 at one point. That was a 10-point
it was
differential. So
a little tight for. It was a little close for comfort. That's for sure.
All right, what should we know about CSU? I mean, I think we all know everything about CU, but what should we know about CSU?
So through 2 games, CSU has looked boring. Okay, and that is probably the exact thing that Jay Norvell wants, because he is building this football team to run the football, stop the run. They have tons of receiving talent. They have a quarterback that can make every throw, and they choose to run the damn rock. So I think that this is going to be a game where CSU is going to test the front of CU and see if they can control the tempo of the game and get a lead. Their defense is pretty damn good.
CU is favored by 7.5. So, but we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. Plenty of time to talk about the Broncos getting ready for maybe Russell Wilson. We'll see. And the Steelers. Any last thoughts from you fellas? I'll give you the floor before we wrap it up. Vic.
I just think it's what we should have expected, what we saw today. And why we're acting surprised, I think, is a product of 8 years of misery. That's all it is. I know for me, I could speak to that. If you thought the kid was going to go out and save the day, not yet. He's not ready yet. And they got some work to do. That's my only thought.
It's 1 out of 17 games. This season's about the development of a rookie quarterback. I have my concerns about his development because of the surrounding cast. The style of play that's needed for Bo Nix to have success is to complete balls in shorter areas and have receivers take off and make something out of it. I have my concerns. I actually, this is exactly what I expected, DMac, when I was sitting up at the stage with you at draft night and you were pre-napping in front of everybody. Okay. This is exactly what I expected.
You mean when the pick was made and DMac climaxed on live radio?
He did climax.
Yeah.
He climaxed similar to how you appeared to have climaxed with Kyle Keefe when you guys shared a bed.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great weekend, everybody.
We'll see you. Bye.